soon. Hi guys, we are live. It's me, Trixie, aka the Thoughtful Beast, and I am here with Marissa Roxas. And today we are going to talk about breakup stuff.
Whoa.
Which is like, even amongst this quarantine, like this stuff is still going on.
Oh, yeah.
Because love stops for no one.
No.
So I want to give Marissa a chance to introduce herself to you guys and tell you guys a little bit about what she does.
Cool. Well, thanks for having me, Trixie. I'm Marissa. I am a filmmaker based here in San Diego. I have a YouTube channel where I make videos about self-love and personal development. And my big dream is to direct movies and stuff like that and just tell it from this perspective of a queer Filipino female. And that's me. That's what I do.
Yeah. Marissa's really talented. She's very but yeah, she's really very technically talented and also hilarious and an amazing human being. Hey, Adrian, look, it's the other third of the film.
Yeah.
I'll have both of these people. I'll have Adrian and Marissa on tomorrow. Not
Tomorrow.
as a film collective,
Just as
but
people.
people still doing film related things.
That's so funny.
Fine. It's totally fine. So okay, let's get this started. So Marissa, what tell us a little about, a little more into your content.
For sure. Sorry, where do you want me to start?
Just I guess like telling about like your content and how like you came to like want to make content about self-love and all that.
Okay. So I've been on YouTube like in terms of like at least posting consistently, if that you want to call it that, for maybe a little over, let's say, a year and a half. And before the event, my breakup, I was still doing pretty much like personal development, lifestyle design kind of content because I've always been kind of a personal development person. Like I'm always trying to improve myself in like a lot of areas, whether it's my craft or just like my health or just like my productivity. So I like talking about that. The creators that I watch talk about that kind of stuff. So I was inspired by that. And it kind of shifted more towards like, it's still personal development, but more focusing on like self-love and self-care because going through a breakup, that those two things are super important to get you back to the amazing person that you are and always will be. It's just you have to remind yourself how to get there. Like I honestly had like the shift in my content literally maybe like a week into my breakup because I'm like, maybe I should make stuff about self-love because that's what I need right now most.
So do you mind telling us a little bit about the breakup?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's been like 8 months, so I can talk about it now without getting super emotional, which is good. I was in a 2-year relationship with my first girlfriend, my first relationship ever. As a queer person, I'm sure if there's other queer people that watch this, like we are late bloomers when it comes to having that first relationship, especially people of my age. I'm 25, almost 26. So like we didn't really get to do that in high school, unfortunately. But thankfully here in 2020, it's a little bit more safe for young teens to have those relationships in high school. So yeah, I had my first relationship. We were together from the time I was 23 to 25. And really like first love and first heartbreak, no matter whether you're queer, you're heterosexual, whoever, like it's hard because you have never, for one, experienced love, like romantic love, and two, like you've never experienced heartbreak. Or so like just understanding that this is my first experience with the highs of first love to the lows of the first heartbreak, and it was just like super hard. And I'm sure anyone can relate to like your first heartbreak was probably the hardest to get through because you had never gone through that before. And when it comes down to like why we broke up, for one, like again, it was our first relationship. We had lots to learn, not only about being in a relationship, but also about ourselves. And that's how I see it now. And I'm sure Tracy will ask me more about it, but how I see it now is that it's just more of we grew apart rather than together. We wanted different things, and it really just comes down to we were no longer aligning as people. So unfortunately, our romantic relationship fell apart, and yeah, that's where I am now, and that's how I understand and I see it now. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so like I think like again, like you're like yes, it was your first heartbreak and you're like slightly older, but like
Mhm.
because like your first heartbreak, like that's intense.
Yeah, it's
Like I want to ask you about like you said like oh maybe I should shift my content to self love, and I just feel
Mhm.
like what like a mature like a mature decision because it's like like to be fair, a lot of us are just gonna be like I'm gonna go crawl into my bed for 4 months, or like I'm gonna be some people get really mad and they don't know how to deal with
Mhm.
that. Like
Mhm.
I feel like you making the choice to like, I'm gonna put this into my content and make it about self-love because that's what I
Yeah.
need. I'd actually like love to ask you about like how you like was that like an easy choice? Like did you feel whoa, hello. My phone is
Well,
on for some reason.
I
Sorry. Did you like
Never mind.
feel a certain way? Like was that like an easy choice and that's automatically what you did? Or was there some sort of like
Um,
like
yeah,
before that
yeah.
happened?
Honestly, like now that I look back at it, like everything is like, I'm so far removed from like that initial pain and just heartache that I am actually really surprised about how I reacted because I was in so much pain and like I went through kind of the stages that a lot of people go through when you are heartbroken and like broken up with for the first time. Like I went through like denial. There was a point in time where I was like I just like wanted to get her back and I thought that that was possible, and then a lot of like self blame. And like again, like this was like maybe 2 weeks after the breakup where I think I was like on my way to like Long Beach for a family thing, and I was listening to like songs that I had listened to like before I even met my ex. And I think it's because like I didn't want to associate anything with her because like I didn't want any reminder, and like it kind of just reminded me of the time before I met my ex, and just like how confident I was in that time of my life, and like realizing that I need to get back there. Obviously, it's going to be different, but I need to get back to that version of Marissa because, like, the Marissa that was broken up with and, like, had this relationship and was, like, not that person. Like, I realized, like, I had lost myself in this relationship and I needed to get back to that. So I was like, yeah, why not? I make content about that. Because, again, I was already kind of watching personal development content, but I was like, we need to focus on, like, more of, like, the heart of it, the self love portion of it that I think is not talked about as much, or at least from the lens of a heartbreak, especially out of a heartbreak. So yeah, I surprised myself is what. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like amazing because like yeah, you're right. Like I don't think self-love after a heartbreak is like talked about a lot. It's more
Mhm.
just like how do we like move on? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or like how again like, oh, hello everyone. Hello
Yeah.
Elizabeth. And hey Rich.
What's
Um
up? I'm not even seeing this chat.
you you can
Can
go
I
to
open?
comment. I didn't know that you
Can
could
I do
comment. I'm gonna
that?
tell you that now.
Just
Like
do
Rich,
that.
like go to the side of your thing. Like, do you have
Yeah.
it on your like it should be there.
Let me see. I'm gonna just look at it.
Um, sorry, we're learning together.
We're learning. I'm listening though. I can.
But yeah, like I feel like usually what's talked about is like how do you get over this person? Like let's
Yeah.
badmouth this
Yeah.
person, or like let's like and I mean this is self-care too, like having your
Mm-hmm.
friends over and getting back to them and stuff, but I feel like addressing personally yourself, like being
Yeah.
like I recognizing like I need to learn how to love myself again, like I mean, it is said, but it's not, right? Because there's like
Mm-hmm.
movies like, how Stella got her groove back. I don't know if you remember that. Like that, I didn't even watch that movie, but that's basically what Stella, like, it's like a breakup thing and her trying to find like herself again. But like, I don't know, like I still feel like even though like it's been in movies and stuff like that, it's always like in this dramatized, like fantastical way where it's just gonna be like, oh my god, you're gonna go on this amazing trip with your
Yeah.
girlfriends, and obviously you're all rich because you can afford
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
random like vacations and things.
Yeah. It's like eat,
And
pray,
it's just
love.
like
I'm just gonna go to Europe. Yeah.
Yeah, right. You're just like, oh,
Like, to find a man.
great.
I don't have money for that. If I did,
Yeah.
I would have done it. But
Exactly. But so like, yeah, I don't think self-love in like a more everyday situation is really
yeah,
true. And like
yeah.
knowing that, I feel like a lot of times it turns into like yearning for other things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, what is actually I would love to know like what is the first self-love video that like you put out on YouTube? What was that about
Can I
specifically?
check? Because I don't even know. It's been a while. It's been a while.
That's good, that's good. You check and I'm just gonna say hi to people in the chat.
Yeah, let me see.
Rich says here, I'm also gonna look, we can show the comment. When am I the next on the Thoughtful's therapy session?
Therapy session.
Okay. Hey, yo, this is not a therapy session because I am not a licensed professional. But I thought I actually messaged you. I thought I already actually messaged you and asked you if you wanted to come on the show next week. But if I didn't,
Yeah,
Rich, then that's when next week.
Okay, I found it. It was the first self-love video I made. It was a find a personal project.
Ooh.
It's like YouTube was kind of my personal project, like since now I had all this time on my hands because I was single. I am single. I was like, let me do YouTube. But it was more of just like, honestly, at that point in time, it was like a distraction, but also like I went from like making 16 vlogs. I saw so much like improvement in my just like overall mental health. Because
Mm-hmm.
I was like actually doing those things. I wasn't just like meditate and like not doing it. Like I was doing those things every you know. So it was like not only make videos, but also doing the practices. Like honestly, like my healing that month of that was October 2019. Like it was skyrocketed because I had a project to do, but also I was like, let me get back to the basics of
Mm-hmm.
self care. And yeah,
Yeah, so you see that banner down there, everyone? Like her YouTube is there, and you can see like her whole like all her self-love videos. It's there. It's there and it's scrolling. So, check her out. Like subscribe and like and do all that fun stuff. But
yes,
yeah, like I remember that month. Obviously, I remember that month. It wasn't that long ago. But it was interesting because like each episode was about trying something new for yourself.
yeah.
And so I do want to ask you, like, what were some of like your favorite ones, or what are some of the ones that like helped you the most, do you
Oh,
feel?
cool. Yeah, for sure. Um, I like the meditating one. I think meditation I know is so like it's so like trendy now. Like I don't hate to make it sound like that, but I think I feel like it kind of is. So like the people who haven't meditated feel like oh whatever, like you're just gonna tell me this Buddha shit. Like no, like it literally is not that. Like it's literally just taking time, not being like overstimulated. Like if you just want to look at it like that, like I call it stillness in my day. Like I have a habit tracker where I do move, still, write, and read. I think so. Still is just like whether I'm actually doing like a guided meditation or if I literally just like go outside on my porch and just sit for like 5 minutes and not look at my phone and not like do anything and just like breathe and be a person. um, but yeah, meditation is like that one. I liked how I shot it. That was a good one. Um,
Before you move on, I want to talk about
yeah,
meditation a little bit. So
yeah.
yesterday you were here. Yesterday when I was talking to Nichelle, we were talking about meditation too, and how like
Yeah, I was here.
meditation can be, it can be different things because yeah, like a lot of people think meditation is one thing. Like a lot of people
Yeah,
just think
yeah,
it's like and like that's all, but there's so many different forms of meditation. Like I love the fact that one of your ways to
yeah,
meditate was just sit outside and just be a person. That's great because it's like
yeah.
yeah, like it's cool, like because sometimes
Mhm.
like I know I get frustrated with meditation because I'm like, is this hard and I can't do this, but I'm like, but I can sit outside and just try to like breathe.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
because like meditation doesn't have to be
Exactly.
perfect because it's a skill. And then also like Nichelle
Mhm.
yesterday was talking about how like for her editing is a sort of meditation because it's so
Yeah, I agree with
present
that.
and one
Mhm.
mindful that she's just like, yeah, and she's in
Yeah.
the zone. And there aren't any other things coming
Yeah.
in. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely different types of meditation.
Yeah.
There's those things. I said yesterday that like I like physical meditation, so things like yoga and stuff, because
Mm-hmm.
my mind does wander, and if there's a physical aspect, like I will pay attention more. Like I like
Yeah.
lifting heavy weights because I have to pay attention more, and this is all I'm going to pay attention to, so I do
Yep.
not hurt my own body.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely, yeah, I agree with that. Like, I resonate with the editing as like a meditative practice because it definitely is like, and I feel like it's just one of those things where like meditation, again, I try to frame it so like people who have never done it before, it's kind of more like digestible and not so like, again, like woo woo, I guess some people will call it. It's just like, it literally is just, I guess, call it like single tasking. Like, people are so, like, people don't single task anymore. So,
Yeah.
editing, you can't multitask. You have to focus on what you're doing, otherwise you're not gonna get anything done. But yeah, like as you said, like yoga, doing weightlifting, like if you're not focusing on what you're doing, you're gonna hurt yourself. So you better, yeah,
Buckle down, y'all.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely like that. There are words like that I learned from dialectical behavior therapy for like they call it mindfulness versus meditation. They like meditation would be like a subset of mindfulness or a way to practice mindfulness. So like the three ways we would practice mindfulness would be one mindfully, which would be like just doing the one thing and trying to
yeah,
stay at one thing.
yeah,
Crap. There's one mindfully. Oh no. I know the third one is non-judgmentally. So like
yeah,
when you're trying to like meditate or be mindful to not judge yourself about how like you're
yeah,
learning a new skill and you're being like, well, I suck at this.
yeah.
Like that's not helpful. Like, yeah, you're
No,
gonna suck at it at first. Like there are barely any people who can sit here and just think nothing. Like that is
yeah,
not most of us. Most of us will have like a million thoughts like running. And then I think it's just like being present, like is the other one, like literally just being aware and present, like being open and actually in the moment is the other one. And I might be wrong and I'll look it up tomorrow, but yeah, I'll correct myself if I'm wrong tomorrow. But like, yeah, because that's how meditation needs to be. It like needs to
yeah.
be like one mindfully. Like that's a great way to put it. Just try to do one thing at a time is already hard itself.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Okay, well, what else did you like, Marissa? What else was helpful for
What
your
else?
breakup?
What else was helpful? I mean, I'm just looking through these because I'm like, what did I make? I had one where it was about expressing gratitude, and honestly, that was probably the most heavy one. And like, I can like, it's one of those things where it's like I can take myself to that moment and like feel like the heaviness. And but again, like I'm so far removed that it doesn't like affect me, terribly. But like, it was just like a very heavy day, and I think just even before all this, like gratitude is so powerful that people again underestimate it. It's just like if you lean into being grateful for even something as simple as like I got to eat mac and cheese today. Like I don't know.
I
Then
like it.
then it just like again it takes you from like going into a dark place to you may not go to the light and exactly, but it's just like keeping you out of that sludge of spiraling. And for me, like gratitude was huge. Like instead of going into like rumination of like I should have done this, I should have done that, if I would have done this we'd still be together, but it's like me doing all of that rumination and overthinking is like not going to change the fact that I'm not with my ex anymore. So rather than that, like let me just be grateful that I got to experience this 2 years with this person. And like again, that's a very hard place to get, but I had to train myself to get there. So just little things at a time, not even just things that were pertaining to like that relationship, but just in general, is super huge. And it was like still a big thing to me today, especially like in such this weird time that we're in with, sheltering in place now. That is what the term is now, not social distancing, because everyone should be at home. But just being like grateful for for just the little things to the big things and making it a practice to whether you're writing it down or you're saying it out loud or if you're just thinking about the things that are grateful is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gratitude, like it's so hard. Like I have like not a bone to pick with gratitude, but
Yeah.
like the way that people handle gratitude individually can be so different. Like, because I don't know about you, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, or like actually talk about it, but like just like knowing, like, some people when they think of gratitude and having to make like a complete like self-love circle or like come full circle and have some peace, they think like, oh, I need to be grateful like for like say like not grateful that you had the love, but grateful for the breakup because now it started this whole like self-love thing.
Yeah.
But I know some people think like that, and some people don't. Some people, like me, are just more so like, yeah, I am glad that I felt the love, but I'm not necessarily glad for the breakup. Like, unless, it was a bad relationship.
Yeah. Oh, no, I definitely, like, it's hard to, like, not that it's hard to talk about, but there's just so many nuances when it comes to, like, this. And, like, I think just self-love in general and, like, breakups and healing is just, like, I can talk about all the ways that I did it, but it's going to look so different for someone else. And you can take what resonates, like, the tips that I gave in my videos, the tips that I'm going to talk about, in this hour. But again, like, if it doesn't resonate, don't think that, like, because you're not doing it, you're not going to heal. Because, like, you're going to find something that works for you. Or maybe you'll take something and adjust it that works for you. Because I get it. Again, like, it's hard to talk about because I don't want someone to say, like, this is the one way. Or, like, if you're not thinking this way, then, like, you're doing it wrong. Because, like, I don't think there's any wrong way to do gratitude.
Yeah.
If it's not making you feel, like, better, then, like, maybe you're doing wrong. But, like,
Yeah, it's because like sometimes people want to force things like gratitude, like I'm so, because like it's not, gratitude is not helpful if you're just gonna be like, I'm so grateful for this challenge, I'm so grateful to be in quarantine, and like you're not actually grateful.
You're not grateful for
things
that.
you have to be grateful about. Like you might be, and if you genuinely are, then great. Like I'm glad because that's gonna help you. But if you're just lying to yourself, then it's like it's not gonna help. Like you're gonna end up feeling bitter at yourself, maybe. Like to try to force these feelings.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because there's a difference between like practicing gratitude and forcing it.
Like that's why it's called a practice. It's like, and I think it goes back to like meditation and like mindfulness, and like again something I've learned along this whole process is again, not to force anything. Like, for instance, like, we're in quarantine right now. We're at home and we can't leave our house and we can't go see our friends. But it's like, instead of, like, sitting here and obviously it sucks. Like, I'm not going to say it doesn't suck because it does suck. But, like, I don't need to make it suck more by, like, making a problem out of it. Like, if that makes sense. Like, people, like, not people. I shouldn't say generalize, but, like, I feel like just the human brain likes to, like, I use traffic as like a good example. Like when you're in traffic, you being so like pissed off and like riding the tail of the person in front of you is not going to make the traffic go away. So like might as well just like, okay, I'm traffic, kind of sucks, but I can like listen to my music and make the most of this commute. I'd much rather do that than like just be angry.
Yeah, for sure. Like
it's not going to make the situation better.
That's like a great analogy.
Right?
Yeah, because like you honking is not gonna make traffic go faster. If anything, you might panic someone and then cause an accident, and then traffic is longer.
Yeah, it's like, why make it worse for yourself? Like it sucks. I'm not saying traffic sucks always, but like you can not add to the suck is what I'm trying to say. So if that's the bare minimum you can do in your day, whatever this pertains to, don't add to the suck.
We're gonna quote Marissa Roxas, don't add to the suck. That's good. I'm gonna make a shirt for you.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Don't add to the suck. Someone remember
this. I'm gonna merch. Don't add to the suck.
Yeah, we're just
Adrian, take notes.
Take notes. Okay. What's another thing you did for self-love? What's another
self-love? What else did I do? I'm trying to think. Okay, this is like not something I made a video about, but I do want to show you guys if you can see it. Oh, let me turn my brightness down because you're not gonna be able to see it. So that's too dark.
I'm excited.
When I used to commute to an office in the good days, I honestly would record a voice memo on my commute. So here. And you're wondering like why, what would you talk about? So basically this voice memo is more of like
show us a little
I'll show it
longer.
again. Okay, yeah, voice memo. So like I mean, it's just voice memo in the voice memo. It's too
Oh, there you go.
It's just in the voice memo app on any iOS device. I'm sure Android has a similar thing. And it's basically just like a verbal journal. And I don't even know when I started doing it. I think it's just like I would have these moments of just like revelation where I'm like, I should record this because it's like this is some good ish, like just like things I had, you know, in terms of like healing and all that. So I started doing like these daily voice memos, and it's just really a way for me to check in. And I usually start with something that I'm grateful for. Again, big or small, but sometimes like on the heavy days, because I still have heavy days, even though it's been 8 months out, I will be like, I am feeling sad today. I'm feeling heavy today. I'll even go as far as like, I miss my ex more than I usually do today. And I will just say that out loud. And there are sometimes where it's like, I just fully accept. Well, not sometimes. I always try to fully accept it. Or even if not, I'll even say sometimes like, I'm frustrated that I feel this way. And it's just a way for me to just like get it out and not let it sit in me, like whether it's a heavy emotion or if I'm having a great day, I'm going to talk about having a great day. And I feel like it's really just like self-talk I'm trying to get to. It's like it's just me trying to find a way to talk to myself as if I'm my own best friend, which I feel like I've gotten so much better at. Mm-hmm. It's a mixture of a lot of things. So it's like a practice of gratitude, a practice of self-talk, a practice of like affirmations, and it's honestly, I feel like one of the biggest things I've done for myself because I've done it like every single day. Maybe not on weekends, but at least every single weekday. And again, it just helps me talk through my emotions, talk through my thoughts, and rather than like just keeping it in here and letting it spiral. Yeah.
It's so interesting because like words like and thoughts and emotions, I feel like they're very powerful, right? Mm-hmm. They're so powerful. And the thing is like if we let them stay in here, they unfortunately turn into like a powerful negative thing, mm-hmm. right? Because it mm-hmm. seems like it's something you're hiding, even if it's a good thing, because then mm-hmm. you still have this thing of like you're suppressing something that makes you happy, like whether it's good or bad. Like if it stays on the inside, it just seems like for most people, it just seems to like become like a hurtful thing. And mm-hmm, then it's mm-hmm. so interesting how like literally just putting it out into the world verbally or written or whatever, like it becomes such a powerful positive thing. Whether it's like a release, like it's self-validation, mm-hmm. like you said, like self-talk, and like you acknowledging your thoughts, like, and being like, yeah, like this is happening and that's okay. Like, it's totally fine, but I feel really crappy about this today. And this is a hard day. Yeah. Like, it's so interesting how that's so powerful and the power can switch so much from in your head to outside.
Yeah. Like I can't explain how powerful it is until like you do it for yourself. I'm sorry. The reason why I smiled while you were talking because I read Rich's comments is, "Hi, I'm Marissa Roxas, and this is." Right. It's super powerful. Like I when I started recording these voice memos is because I thought I would like revisit them and be like, I'm so like woke. I don't know. Like I could write a book. I could be like the next Buddha.
Oh my god!
Just kidding. But like I don't. I like the thing is. But yeah, seriously, like I the most powerful thing is that I record these. I have no intention of listening to them back. It's just the act of having that release and acknowledging the thoughts that I'm having, the feelings I'm having. It's so much easier for letting feelings pass through and again not judging myself for whatever I'm feeling, you know. but also like also acknowledging those feelings of frustration that I might have too, because it's like just acknowledging that all, because otherwise it's just gonna get stuck here and here. That's not good. I don't need to carry things longer than I need to. So
No, and that's a good realization. You
yeah,
don't hold on to things longer than you need to, but a lot of us
yeah,
do. That's why
yeah,
breakups can be so hard, right? Because it's this
yeah,
process of learning how to let go of most of this stuff. And most of it is like your own hangups and your own fears about like what happened.
yeah, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
Okay. What actually can I ask you actually like, and you can pick maybe just
yeah,
one
yeah,
thing. It
yeah.
doesn't have to be the worst thing, but like what is something that you found really hard to let go? Like when it came to your breakup?
Oh, really hard to let go. Let's see. I think the hardest thing to let go. Um, I want to say like it was just like the possibility of ever getting back together, but I think in terms of just like that's helpful for a lot of people because I feel like that's a not that it's other ones not universal, but like I feel like self blame is very hard to like overcome. Um,
Yeah.
Again, context with my breakup is that like we ended on good terms, and I do that in quotes because like good terms seems so like nebulous if you don't know. It's just like we ended in terms of like I still very much care about her, and I know she still very much cares about me, and there's a mutual respect there. So like there was nothing in terms of like no betrayal or no like malicious acts. So it's just like you're left kind of like wondering what could I have done to prevent this? What could have I done, differently? And, obviously to an extent that's good to ask so like you don't carry certain behaviors into your next relationship. But like I really thought like it was my whole fault that our relationship ended. And that's really like harmful because it's like it made me feel like I wasn't enough and that I was not lovable and so on and so forth and just like it makes you just feel just kind of like worthless and that was very hard for me to get over. It took me like I feel like that's what made it so painful. Like not I think a brain breakups are obviously painful, but like that self-blame was more a suffering and like you don't need to suffer. Like it's okay to feel pain, that's part of the experience, but sometimes our suffering is like self-inflicted and of course like it's not your fault, it's totally human to like feel this way and like want to take on the whole blame of a relationship ending, which I unfortunately did. um but yeah, it was just like again a combination of time and understanding that relationships, whether romantic platonic, it's a two-way street. It takes two to make a relationship and it takes two to break a relationship.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so like I instead of going full force like it was all my fault, and again, time and with all the practices that I mentioned that I've been doing, I realized like, hey, like yeah, there are some things that I made mistakes. Like I wasn't perfect, she wasn't perfect. We both did things that contributed to the end of our relationship, but it wasn't just me, and it doesn't mean that I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worthy of being in a relationship. The fact of the matter is, I was in a relationship, so like me thinking that I'm unlovable is like, but weren't you just in a relationship?
Yeah. Oh my God. That is such
Yeah,
a good point,
right,
right? Because you just
right.
think like, oh, I'm worth nothing. It's just like
It's
someone
like,
just saw your worth. Like,
yeah,
and just because
it,
it's over doesn't take away that worth.
yeah,
Oh
it
my God,
doesn't take
that's so
that away.
good.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah, exactly.
I want to make that actually the segue into this comment
Oh yeah, do it. Yeah,
because it kind of has to do with that. The codependency
yeah,
is always the hardest for me to let go
yeah.
because like that like the worth like your worth like and
Mm-hmm.
your like self-worth and your being able to be lovable actually has to do with like codependency, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
feel like you have to
Mm-hmm.
be with this person or you
Mm-hmm.
are nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like and I feel
Ooh.
like yeah, like oh God, codependency is just like it is so difficult, and that is something where, like, lots of relationships they don't have to be romantic relationships, like, familial relationships, like, codependency can be an issue. Like, like,
Mhm.
codependency where
Mhm.
you literally, like, need each other to
Mhm.
function, like, should not be a thing, but sometimes we build our relationships that way, and, like, I mean, I'm gonna talk about myself because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like, "Other people, you did this," but, like, I know,
No
like,
worries.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like, I had, like, really bad, like, codependency issues in some of, like, my really bad relationships where it's just like not bad. Well, some of them were bad, but like in relationships that was unhealthy because it's like for what in one of them, like I was the other person's whole world, right? Like
Yeah.
I was their everything, and like they made their schedule around me. Like everything was around me, and like I I needed them because I was actually like really messed up, and I was like reeling and riddled with mental illness, and it was like, and I was really young. This is when I was like in high school, so like it's it sucks because I'm not saying like I didn't love this person or anything, but like the way when I look at that, like at least like and I can't exactly say what was happening for the other person, but like from the outside at least, or like from what I was looking at, like we had this really unhealthy aspect of a relationship going on because we needed each other like way too much. Like I really didn't think that I could go I literally thought like I was not going to be able to make it without this person. Like straight up. And I know like a lot of people say that with love, like, if I lost you, then I would be like lost forever and everything would be bad. But I'm like, that's not a healthy thing.
No, that's
like
not romantic at all.
No, and it's
No.
so it's displayed though, it's showed like in movies and stuff like as like their most romantic thing. Like Romeo and Juliet. Like I hate Romeo and Juliet, and I've
Me too,
always hated
honestly.
Romeo
I
and
have
Juliet.
too. Yes.
Like I've always hated it, even though I've definitely, again, like I just said, I was like codependent in a relationship. Like I've definitely done it. But it's really not romantic. Like if you need to be able to like stand up on your own and actually love yourself and see your worth outside of another person.
Yeah.
Because if not, you start giving like your self-respect, like I don't want to say power, but kind of like your power, you know what I mean? Like your responsibility, your ability to do things like away, because you're just putting it at the hands of this other person. And the other person is also throwing theirs back at you. And you're just like, I know a lot of people see like, oh, well, we got each other's back then. But I'm like, or you can't deal with your own stuff. And now like it's all just in between you, up in the air.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh God.
Yeah.
Like pretending that it's okay. Like, yeah, it can be a lot. Codependency is hard.
Yeah, it is hard. Like, yeah, like it's definitely it's hard to look back and like realize that like I was in that place. I definitely was in that place, and just like understanding that I totally like lost myself in that relationship. And again, I don't blame her. I don't blame myself. It's just like the nature of relationships. It's very easy to fall into that. Hello, everyone. And
hi, Ramon. I can't see who's entering from like the
I don't
comments.
know either. I don't know either.
I had to like close my other window because I'm like, oh no, my computer's slowing down.
Oh no.
I don't know if I can help or not. But yeah. But yeah, it is like you said, like it's hard to like look back and be like, ooh, girl, that was me.
Yeah, that was me. Or how did I get to that place? But again, going back to like to stop like shaming yourself or blaming yourself, it's like these are very human things. It's just like unfortunate. This is like no one teaches. There's no class on like relationships. There really isn't. Unless you go. And it's like especially like for me in my case it was like my first one, so it's like my first experience, and I didn't have the foresight that I do now. And the hope is that I do better in my next relationship, and I have all confidence that I will do better in my next relationship and not, get lost in a person and get lost in a relationship. Or
yes.
Well, there is sex ed. That's not relationship ed. Not sex.
Oh my God, this is a good one. What about letting go of pictures, videos, social media posts, and memories with that person?
So this one is like I feel like it's a very personal thing. And like I'm not gonna tell you what to do, what not to do. I would say the best thing, especially that first, let's say, and this is so arbitrary, honestly, like 2 months, you should not have any reminders of them. It's just gonna make it fucking worse. Sorry, I shouldn't cuss.
Oh, you can curse. It's fine. I think it's fine. Rich said it's fine, so it's fine.
I would just like. Okay, cool. Instagram, like archive them if you don't have the heart to like delete, archive them. If you have photos on your phone, back them up and don't have them on your phone. Memories, I literally first day, everything that her clothes, her pictures went into a drawer. They're still in that drawer, and I need to find a way to get rid of it and not have it in my energy space. But yeah, I would just say like any reminders, like it's really once a breakup happens, and I know it's hard for people to get here, but like your priority is you. I know you miss that person. I know you still love them, but like you need to get detox of them. It's like it honestly is like addiction, like drug addiction, like drug getting off a drug. Like I have read all the articles, I've watched all the videos. Literally, your body is responding as if you are going into
Withdrawing.
withdrawing from like cocaine or like heroin, like hard drugs. So don't have it in the like you wouldn't have like alcohol in the house if you were an alcoholic. So don't have any reminder of your ex if you're going through a breakup as much as you can. And I know that's hard, like easier said than done, but I would tell my past self like, dude, you gotta stop. Like, no, any reminders for it's not gonna be good for you in the long run.
Yeah.
You're getting the pain and the heartache. Yeah.
For sure. Because like also like because I know there are people are just like, well, I should be strong enough to like
Mm-hmm.
handle looking at this person. But
Yeah.
like this is not the time for that. Also, it's like that's not necessarily a test of your strength because it
No.
might just become you self-torturing yourself, being like
Yeah.
forcing yourself, like, looking at a picture and just being like, why aren't I strong enough to be over this now? I'm like, that's not helpful. Like,
No.
you just broke up with someone. Like, that's not a test of strength. You're just torturing yourself for being
Yeah.
human at that point.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Like, and like, yeah, like what she said, like, honestly, like, I would think like that's the best thing too, especially if you're coming out of a relationship where this person was like hurtful and abusive towards you,
Mm-hmm.
because like like I don't know, maybe not everyone. I know there's some people are just like, well, why would you ever be with someone who's like abusive towards you? It's just like it's not a simple answer.
Yeah,
Like
it's not.
there are answers to that question, and like as much as I'd hope like no one would have to be like that and everyone would see like I've been in an abusive relationship. You don't see it. You don't see it. And even when you do see it, like at least for me, like you try to push it away
Mm-hmm.
because you're just like, no, no, no. Like again, the codependency, like I need this person. Like it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
okay. And I've like gone through worse. So it's like fine. But it's not fine. So, especially if you were in an abusive relationship, you really need to take that away. Cause I actually feel like, yeah, like what Marissa was saying with like addiction, right? Like this person was hurtful to you, this thing hurts you, but also there was like so much like love and good things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, you're gonna want to go back to it. Like that's a
Yeah.
normal human thing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it is. It's a human thing. And like even out of like even for a lot of abusive relationships, it takes a person leaving multiple times for them to finally leave permanently.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not a weakness thing. It's like this is
No.
human nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to like give yourself like the best chance you have, which is like letting go of like all the picture stuff, like cutting communication.
Mm-hmm.
Like those
Mm-hmm.
are like things that can really help you out of the get-go, which like Marissa said, like way easier said
Yeah.
than
Way
done.
easier said than done, for sure.
But if you can get yourself to do that or like reach out for help and be like, oh my god, Marissa, I just broke up with like you need to come to my house and take this away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can
Yeah.
get
For
help that
sure.
way, and that's totally fine.
Yeah. If you need someone to do it for you, then like is all you need. Then yeah, do it.
Yeah, I
Do
think
it for you.
sometimes there's too much stress on being like, I need to do this by myself.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like, yeah, some things you do need to do alone, but also you need to give
Mm-hmm.
yourself like credit for like even asking for help,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people won't. They
Yeah.
won't.
Yeah. For sure.
Marissa, what is one of like the actual, is there like an easy self-love thing, or that is there one of the things that you did that you thought was like, oh, this is easy to implement into my life, like for any of your self-love practices?
Sorry again, because you kind of cut out for me.
Oh,
Sorry.
is there any like self-love
Oh my,
practice?
you're cutting out.
Oh.
Okay, I think you're good. Say it.
Was there any part of your self-love practices that you actually found really easy to integrate into your life? Like, what are some really easy, like, quote unquote easy stuff that you would recommend people like
Easy
starting
stuff.
with?
Ooh, this is okay, I'm very a low maintenance girl, but I bought myself makeup for like the first time in forever. And just like again, going back to like meditation, but like and it literally takes me 10 minutes to do my makeup, like not even. But like putting on my eyebrows, putting on my blush, and putting on my chapstick, like that was so good for me because like for one, it's like a practice. Like I have to pay attention to what I'm doing, or else I'm gonna fuck up my face. But two, like I don't know, like this is just a whole other thing. But part of self love is also loving the way that you look, and feeling good in your own skin, and like that helped me because it's like especially like after breakup, you feel like you're not hot anymore. So like, which honey you are. So stop thinking that you're not. So like that was honestly like it's such a little thing, but like I would be so proud of myself sometimes, like just getting up and going to work, and like getting ready and like feeling like, well, I'm hot stuff, whatever. Like
Yeah.
silly, but like it does a lot. It goes a long way. Like, it doesn't have to be makeup. Like, buy yourself a new pair of shoes. Go get yourself a new haircut. Like, people always like make a stereotype, like, oh, she went through a breakup, she just cut her hair off. Like, okay, I guess. But also, it's like sometimes it's the physical act of change, and like not only just change, but like if you want to try something new and you like that hairstyle looked really good on me when I had it 2 years ago. I'm gonna do it again. And like anything that will make you feel more yourself and just like good, do it. Like just do it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there is a physical aspect to self-love.
Mm-hmm.
Like there
Mm-hmm.
is, like you being able to like look in the mirror and be like, "Hey girl, you look good." Like that
Yeah.
that is really hard for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think like attempts made to like do it, like yeah, that should be encouraged. Like and that's
Mm-hmm.
not the same as like quote unquote like that's not the same as like being super shallow and being like stuck in the
Mm-hmm.
mirror forever and like all you
Mm-hmm.
do is look at yourself. But like it's a it's a good thing when you like how you look or you like the
Yeah.
things you wear because it makes you confident. Like you can't
Mm-hmm.
ignore that physical aspect of like
Yeah.
self-love and self-confidence. And it's just like also like what Marissa said, right? She's answering like what's an easy thing you can do. Sometimes it's easier to start from outside going in.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like
Oh, yeah.
yeah, for
So,
sure. It's
sorry,
like go ahead.
sorry, I just kept wanting to say this earlier, but I didn't. Your eyebrows look amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you. See, like I did them. I did them before because I'm like I gotta look good.
Sorry, go on. I just have been really wanting to say
Oh,
that too
thank
because I'm like,
you.
I've been
My mom.
staring at
Yeah.
them and being like, do they look super good?
Thank you. My mom is super proud too, but she's like, "Oh my god, like you actually do your eyebrows now?" I'm like, "Yeah." So yeah, yeah, for sure. Like especially just like that first, I would say again, like 2 3 months, it's hard. It's so hard. You're just gonna feel a lot of pain and sadness. So if you like can have something tangible, aka that new outfit, those eyebrows, that haircut, then it just like again gets you into the mood of like you know adjusting to this new life because it is a new life without this person. You have to um make new routines and like understand and like kind of come back to yourself, especially just like in especially in my situation is like I feel like I lost a lot of myself in that relationship, and just getting back to a version of Marissa that could be proud of, for sure.
Yeah, and again, like a lot of Marissa's self tips, like they are like a lot of them are like inside going out, and like those are way important. Like
Yeah.
those are so important, but also like please do not like discount like the little things that you can do for self love, like giving yourself a manicure and stuff. Like those things are important too. They're important. They're
Mm-hmm.
super important. There is a question. Do
Yeah.
you think people
Yeah, for
can
sure.
overcome betrayal and
Ooh.
allow themselves to trust and find love again?
Ooh. Ooh.
Do you want to answer first? Do you want me to go first?
Um, Yeah. I mean, I have to preface this as like I'm not that I'm a complete and total just like optimism all the time. I'm a realist with like a touch of optimism. I say yes, but also again with most things that we talk about in this hour is that it's easier said than done. Um, and I don't know if I'm like exactly the person to talk on this. Like again, like there wasn't betrayal. I mean, I guess you could say there was a little bit, but like not no one cheated on anyone. So like I don't know if I could speak to it exactly. I will speak to like the trusting and finding love again. And again, it's gonna sound super kind of woo woo, but like I have had to learn that the love that I experience right now, in the future, and in the past, like always started with me. Like if I did not saying like you have to love yourself, like okay, that's gets into like but like you have to even if you're not totally like I'm 100% loving on myself right now, like understanding that you deserve love is super important to even receive it because it's like it's almost like an open and closed door. If you just like I want love, but like you have that door closed and it's like, bruh, it's not gonna come in. I don't know. I try to explain it.
No, I like that. You lock the door.
Yeah, it's like,
No one can come in.
and I'm not trying to make a joke of it, but it does like at some point has to start with you. And again, it's like, and what I'm trying to say is that you don't have to fully be healed or like fully be like self love guru for you to like find love again, but you just have to be open to it and on your way towards that place where you are good with yourself. I think is what I'm trying to say, because that way like you're not reaching for someone to give that to you, whether it's love, validation, security, whatever it is, because that's just sets you up for a whole mess of problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first I want to address like the word betrayal because I think
Mm-hmm.
betrayal usually for breakups a lot of people think cheating, which
Mm-hmm.
yes, like of course that's a
Mm-hmm.
betrayal, but then there's also like betrayal of like expectations and just like
Mm-hmm.
betrayal of like my trust, right? Like cuz it can be like example, this never happened to me, but like it can be like monetary, like um say for example like my boyfriend and I right now, like say we were like we agreed to just be like yeah we're going to share 50% of our income and put it to a pot and that's our like our own stuff, but like say I find out like later he's actually been only giving me like 20% or something, like and like I've been having to pick up the slack, like some kind of things like that, like that's a betrayal, like that's a betrayal of trust. You think you're making a life together and then you realize like someone's not actually giving what they agreed to,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because what you guys agree to in a relationship is like definitely up to each individual. But
Mm-hmm.
like the fact that like, people need to keep their word in a relationship and having that trust betrayed, whether it's like financial or just like a secret that like put people in danger. I'm just thinking of this because I watched a movie. Dude, I watched this movie called Dismissed where Cole Sprouse is like the sociopath killer. And like this sorry, I just spoiled things. But yeah, anyways, you should watch it. It's really funny.
Wait,
It's
no, I
not
feel
funny. It's
like
great. But like
I feel like saving this. Yeah.
there is the guy, the main hero, he wasn't telling his wife what was happening, but I was like, someone's after you. Like that's dangerous. So
Yeah.
anyway, so it can be like that, like keeping things from people basically, like when someone keeps things from you and it like definitely affects your life, like that is a betrayal as well. And I
Yeah.
think maybe in a general sense, like people have felt that more. I I think I've been cheated on. Like it's really weird. Like I was like in the abusive relationship I was in, I was pretty sure I was being cheated on.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever. So allowing yourself to trust and find love again, I think is very it is possible. Like I am like Marissa, but I'm a realist and I don't have a touch of optimism. I'm trying to because I think as a coping mechanism for life, like you do better when you're optimistic, honestly. Like when you're optimistic, you do better in life, like in terms of like being able to cope with things. So I'm trying to put that shoe on my foot. But in a very realist sense, like you can like you can find that way. It's just hard work. Like with what Marissa was doing, you know,
Yeah.
like she launched herself into like every other day in October, right? Every other day?
Yeah,
Every
every
other
other day.
day in October, she posted a vlog about self-love and doing that, which meant that she was like every day, like practicing self-love, thinking about self-love. And like that's hard work. And to like just let go of like what we said, to like let go of that blame on yourself, like that is hard work. But these are the steps you do to allow yourself to trust and find love again. Because the thing is, like, once you build trust and strength within yourself, it's easier to trust other people because the
Mhm.
thing is like you're gonna the I guess the pinnacle or whatever, like, you know, where you want to reach, the top where you want to reach is kind of like whatever happens, I'm going to be okay because
Mhm.
I have myself and I know I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so like everything else after that like is extra, like extra love or like yeah, like an extra person in your life. Like you can build a life with them, but knowing that no matter what you're going to be okay, like I feel like is at least what I try to hold on to,
Yeah, for sure.
like, and that way it can be okay because like love is hard, like even like in healthy relationships, like you have to work at love
Yep.
and you have to not lose yourself. I've definitely been like Marissa where I've like, yeah, I definitely lost myself in that
Yeah.
relationship. Like I've done that multiple times. So like it I definitely feel like again, like this is why I had Marissa on because like that self-love aspect of it as I is really how I feel how you can get to allowing yourself to trust and love again because you
Yeah.
have to trust and love yourself. And again, like what she's been saying the whole time, like knowing that like you deserve love and opening that unlocked door, bruh. Like unlock it and open it, leave it ajar.
A jar.
Yeah. But I mean I really do think it's possible. It's just very much hard work and working on yourself a lot and then like learning from like the mistakes you made.
Mhm.
Like basically like one big mistake I kept making over and over again is not setting boundaries with
Mm.
people
Ooh,
and
yes.
like and saying expectations and things that and you know, a lot of people don't like to do this, right? Because you're just like, well, we're in a relationship. Of course you're supposed to do this. But it's just like, no, 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 no. You have to say it out loud.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
you have to say it out loud, like and I know a lot of people don't like this because like it's like well it's not romantic then this person should know and I'm like no one can actually
No.
read your mind,
Yeah.
like that's mind reading and it really if anything will lead you to more disappointment. If
Yeah.
anything at least you will be disappointed, not and like and more often than not everyone in this situation will be disappointed when you start mind reading and assuming or expecting other
Mhm.
people to read your
Ooh.
mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, yeah, I mean, I know we're one sec. I'm just gonna grab something that I want to share with you guys.
Okay. So I'll just keep talking about this. But it's true, like setting boundaries, setting expectations, like even like in the beginning,
Okay.
like
I'm back. Sorry.
okay, go.
Oh
Oh wait,
god.
sorry. No, let me finish my sentence.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's up?
Like even in the beginning of relationships, like sometimes people ask me like, how do I like how do I find out if we're exclusive or not? And I'm like, you gotta ask.
Yeah, I gotta ask.
But you're like, and then you know, people feel weird about it. I'm like, no, 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 no. You need to ask
Yeah.
because if you act like you're exclusive and they're not because they didn't think you were exclusive, you're the
Yeah.
one who's going to be reeling from that, not them. And that's not their fault
Mhm.
because you never really talked about it. You can't like assume things the same way. Even if you meet this person and you're just like, oh my God, we're so the same, we're so similar, da 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 da. Like it doesn't matter because you don't have the same mind. Like
Yeah.
you don't. So
Yeah.
you just need to ask.
Don't be afraid to be direct, especially you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, but like it is just because it's like we're not we're not taught to be direct about stuff like that, especially in relationships. So the guy has to do it. Like no. Do you know how confusing it is in like a lesbian relationship? It's fucking confusing, but you gotta be direct.
Oh man. Oh my God. Okay, show us what you were going to show us.
Okay, so I mean, I know like we're winding down. You talked about like
Oh,
making assumptions and all that.
yeah.
Never make assumptions. assumptions, like not just in relationships, just like anything that has to pertain with like another person, like making assumptions is just like you're going down a road you don't want to go. So like I suggest you read the Four Agreements. This is just a good, not even just like heartbreak book, but just like for life and just looking at life. It's very short. It's a good read. Oh, this one is definitely more about, it's so bright. Heartbreak kind of healing book. It's called Inward. It's by Young Pueblo. This is so good. Even if you just look him up on Instagram, he posts a lot of his writing there. So even if you don't want to spend $10, his name is Young Pueblo.
I follow him because you follow him.
His this is like so good, and like it's just little poems and stuff like that, so you'll get through it really fast. I have like every page dog eared because it's that good. And then I also have a podcast that I listen to and honestly has changed my life. It's called Unfuck Your Brain. If you just search it in like Apple or podcast or on Spotify, whatever you have, you'll find it. It has a pink thumbnail. I don't know what you call it. It's very good. Again, it's like it definitely has helped me manage my mind better because I feel like it's really the mind that like gets you in trouble when it comes to like pain and stuff. Like you're gonna feel it physically. Like heartbreak is such a physical experience as well as like mental emotional. But when it comes down to like the rumination and the self blame and just all the self worth stuff, like being able to like know what thoughts are like helpful and what thoughts are just like, yo, you're this is coming from something else, and we just need to rework this a little bit. Explains it a lot better than I do because she actually does coaching on thought work and all that. But yeah, sorry. Do you want to close it? It's already
No. Go. Please keep talking.
I guess my like closing like remark is just more of self-love and healing from a heartbreak is definitely a day-by-day thing. Take it one day at a time. Everything that we talked about is easier said than done. With self-love, you have to put in the legwork every single day. It's not just an overnight process, and there's no destination when it comes to self-love because like your life, whether it's like a new job, a new relationship, end of a relationship, you move. Like there's always going to be new things that you have to navigate. So finding ways to love yourself no matter the situation is hard, but it's like I honestly think it's the work that is the most meaningful and probably the most important work that you're going to do when it comes to, you know, your life because you got you forever, or as long as you're alive.
Yeah.
Not forever. Yeah, I don't know.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marissa, for being
here. Thank you.
Like I didn't even realize that we were at an hour already.
I know, it went by so fast. I enjoyed this. And like again, like it's so important to talk about. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is a topic that can be talked about like for hours. For hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
But so I'll probably have Marissa back to talk more about it. We'll do a 2.0.
I'll be here.
But I know we obviously we did not get to all her YouTube videos. Right here in the banner. Oh, where's my finger? Right here in the banner streaming across, like you can find her and her stuff. And please like check out her channel, like for all like her self-love videos. Like there's a lot of different things that you can try, and it's great because she's obviously going to be trying them with you.
Yes.
So it's really cool. It's a really cool experience. So yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Check us out. We're both on Instagram and we're both on YouTube. Mine is The Thoughtful Beast. Hers is Marissa Roxas. Her name right there on the banner, and also like right there next to her box. So yeah, like it's time, like do nice stuff for yourself, guys. Like it's time to practice self-love. Okay, ready to say bye? I'm gonna do this the right way and not the awkward way I did with Michelle yesterday. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.